While global headlines focus on complex foreign conflicts, a quiet crisis is unfolding inside American grocery stores. The average citizen is watching their purchasing power evaporate at the checkout counter. $10 used to buy a substantial basket of goods. Today it buys a handful of strawberries or a single pound of ground beef. This is not just a story about inflation. It is a story about how the basic necessity of food is being managed in the United States. The consequences are landing directly on the American voter, the taxpayer who carries the ultimate burden. I'm John Marques. If you enjoyed this kind of content, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. More videos are coming. Walk into any supermarket from Hawaii to South Carolina and the story is identical. People feel like they are doing something wrong. Their wages simply cannot keep up with the rising cost of everyday essentials. A trip to a bulk retail store for simple family staples now easily approaches $300. For a single person, a few heads of produce and some sparkling water can total $83. Many Americans report changing their diets entirely to cope with these prices. Some are skipping meals or fasting. Others have given up on home cooking because buying raw ingredients has become a financial burden. The math simply does not add up for the working class anymore. In the past, parents would advise their children to buy ground beef because it was an affordable base for family meals. Today, that same ground beef is nearly $8 a pound. It does not matter if it is lean or standard. A standard watermelon can cost $21. Even a small package containing just 2 organic chicken breasts can reach $20. This pressure creates a dangerous paradox. Healthy whole foods are becoming luxury items. When 13 strawberries cost $12, the financial pressure forces families toward heavily processed alternatives. Fast food becomes a forced choice rather than a convenience. This directly impacts the long-term health of the American population. People are making more money than they ever have in their lives, yet they feel poorer than they did in their 20s. The baseline stability of the American household is fracturing under this daily weight. Families are using coupons and shopping at discount chains, but the bills remain staggering. A family of 5 can easily spend $1,500 a month, a staggering sum for basic survival. Consider the stark contrast with the year 2019. Before the pandemic, $400 could fill a cart twice a month with high-quality goods. Today, that same amount barely covers a fraction of those necessities. The modern checkout line has become a place of anxiety and quiet defeat for millions of families. To understand how we arrived here, we must look behind the stockroom doors. The underlying problem is not a shortage of food supply. The United States produces more than enough food to feed its entire population. The issue lies within the corporate structure of the grocery industry itself. In the retail world, unsold or damaged inventory is officially classified as shrink. This includes expired products, items with superficial packaging damage, and cosmetically imperfect produce. When a corporate grocery chain throws this food away, it does not represent a total financial loss for them. Instead, current tax laws allow these corporations to write off these losses. They report the value of the discarded inventory to lower their overall taxable profit. This mechanism reduces the amount of income that the company is taxed on. As a result, the financial pain of wasting food is heavily mitigated by the federal tax code. The system structurally protects corporate profit margins even when thousands of dollars of perfectly edible food are dumped directly into the trash. The American taxpayer ultimately subsidizes this corporate waste through the tax system. This dynamic ensures that corporations face little financial pressure to lower prices or redistribute excess food to those in need. Profit protection remains the primary operational directive. Because protecting profit margins is the primary goal, corporate actors often resist solutions that would reduce food waste. One proven method is dynamic pricing. This is a system where stores automatically lower the price of food right before it expires. Statistical data shows that this practice significantly reduces waste, yet less than 25% of grocery stores in the United States use it. The reason is straightforward. Corporations worry that normalizing cheaper food access will undermine their broader pricing structures and future sales expectations. This structural incentive leads to practices that many consumers find deeply troubling. Grocery stores regularly discard entire shipments of overstock that cannot fit into freezers or will not sell quickly enough. Rather than donating this food to local shelters or food banks, many locations choose destruction. Some stores intentionally lock their dumpsters. Others go as far as pouring bleach onto edible food inside the trash to guarantee nobody can salvage it for free. The ultimate irony occurs at the register. The exact same corporations will ask you to donate money for hunger relief on the digital checkout screen. They ask the consumer to fund charity while actively destroying usable food behind the building. Under this economic model, businesses operate as profit engines before they function as community assets. If giving away excess food threatens the established market value of their products, the food is treated as waste. Manufactured scarcity becomes a tool to keep prices artificially high, a mechanism driven entirely by corporate interests. This model stands in stark contrast to how other nations approach the food supply. Consider France. The French government passed comprehensive anti-food waste laws that fundamentally altered the retail landscape. Large supermarkets in France are legally prohibited from destroying usable food. They are required by law to donate edible overstock to registered charities instead. This shifts the priority from corporate tax strategy to public welfare. The difference is also apparent when Americans look at alternative regional models. American citizens living on fixed incomes in places like Mexico report an entirely different relationship with food costs. In markets there, sustainable and healthy standards are the default baseline. Consumers do not have to search for specialized labels or pay a massive premium for organic ingredients. The trade-off is a reliance on local and seasonal availability. Food does not travel thousands of miles to reach the shelf. This structural difference keeps nutritional value high and costs manageable. In the United States, the system operates on an entirely different logic. High-quality, chemical-free food has been segregated into high-end specialty grocery stores. Nutrition has become an expensive luxury. If an American family wants to avoid hormones and artificial additives, they must pay a steep financial penalty. This system forces a cruel choice between financial security and physical health. It is a structural pattern that explains why living within your means has become an unattainable goal for millions of households. Even basic hygiene items like deodorant have spiked to over $10, while the federal minimum wage remains stuck at $7.25 an hour in multiple states. The rapid escalation of these prices reveals an empirical deterioration of consumer stability. Consider everyday supermarket observations. Essential products like lentils, flour, and chicken broth have doubled or tripled in cost within a single calendar year. Consumers notice these spikes on a weekly basis, yet official economic reports continue to insist that inflation is hovering at a modest 6 or 7%. This disconnect creates a profound sense of cognitive dissonance for the average citizen. When your personal grocery bill doubles, official single-digit metrics feel completely detached from reality. To make matters worse, structural factors prevent traditional methods of frugality. An individual could try to visit multiple different stores to hunt for discounts. However, with fuel prices climbing to $5 a gallon in many regions, the cost of driving quickly erases any grocery savings. The consumer is effectively trapped in a closed system. Every exit route involves a financial penalty that lands on the same overextended household budget. In the end, every economic system reflects the choices of those who govern its rules. The current state of American grocery retail is not an accident of nature. It is the direct result of prioritizing corporate profit structures over public access. When citizens are forced to choose between buying fuel or buying fresh produce, the broader economy suffers. This is a structural burden that the American consumer can no longer afford to carry alone. If you look at your wallet today, you can see the direct cost of this system. It is a reality that every voter and taxpayer will have to confront. Thanks for watching. Support links are in the description and on screen.